Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 54. All right, welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. Hey, man.
What's going on, Jay? Jay is once again live and in person together, recording with me at my place for this episode of Watching the Thrones. Watching the Throne, Jay, not Thrones.
Yeah,
Caught
Nico.
myself there.
Nico.
But yeah,
for some Funko Pop
Game of Thrones representation. I actually don't have any great Game of Thrones stuff, actually. Yeah, you actually have more Game of Thrones stuff than I do. Actually.
Well, these are a little bit more costly.
At least now you finally are watching the show, so you can say you're a fan and that you also have Game of Thrones stuff. So
I'm gonna start selling those scotches. No.
But yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is our Game of Thrones kind of overview type show where we're going back and we're talking about Game of Thrones episode by episode. Jay, this is his first time ever watching the show. He had, only got put on to Game of Thrones finally from watching House of the Dragon that came out, I guess 2 years ago almost now, and kind of I was able to convince him to kind of for us to take a little trip here and watch the show. This is my first time rewatching the show ever. I've never gone back and rewatched it after it first aired the first time around when I watched it. So this has been an interesting show in that regard to kind of go back, and we all have all kinds of different perspectives here, obviously having experienced it for the first time or second time around. And, sometimes we have guests join us on these shows as well. You can go back and check out our playlist here of Watching the Throne and all of the other great shows that we put out here on the Late Night Chat Network, of course. And make sure you like and subscribe. And thank you to everybody who's checked these shows out. It's been a lot of fun doing these.
This is the end of the story. We're only halfway there.
No, we're more than halfway. Come on, we're in the final stretch here. We're in the last quarter, I would say.
I'm still in the middle.
But here today we're going to be talking about, this is a 54th episode of Watching the Throne, and of course we're going to be talking about season 6, episode 4, Book of the Stranger. Jay, what did you think of this episode?
This one was fucked up too. This was crazy.
This is a good one. A
lot of stuff to digest in this one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things to see, especially some guest appearances, recurring guest appearances from a pair of these, a couple that we'll see later on.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that. I'll let you know.
I really liked this episode. I mean, we've kind of tried to record these in blocks, a couple episodes at a time, guys, put out for you guys to keep ahead and keep on track and keep on schedule with these. And they do drop every Thursday at 8 p.m. here for you guys. But this one was quite good. Yeah, I really liked a few scenes in particular in this episode, and things are developing at quite a quick pace. And I actually don't remember a lot of the Ramsay storyline type stuff. So this has been particularly interesting for me because I feel like for the first time since embarking on rewatching all these episodes with Jay doing this show, this is the first time where I feel like I don't remember everything that has occurred during this storyline, and specifically on the Ramsay side of stuff. So I'm just as I feel like excited for this stuff as you are, Jay, just because I'm like, I don't recall some of these things. And that story is developing really, really interestingly. It's really coming along. And I mean, if you go look ahead at some of the episode names for this season, you might get an idea of where we're headed towards, because it is pretty clear in this episode what's about to go down. But I think the right to the heir of the North is going to be in contention here, as we got a bastard showdown coming up. It seems like Jon and Ramsay are on course to go against one another here, right? So very interesting.
Jon dies again, I'm out. Straight up.
I would be too after everything.
I like Ramsay, but if Jon dies again, I'm out. Straight up.
So very interesting stuff going on here, man. Yeah. So
if you guys remember last episode, I gave you a hint to keep your eyes open. So make sure you keep your eyes open in this one.
All right, there you have it. You'll have to point out to us when we get to that point.
Oh, I will make sure. Don't you worry.
So we start off this episode at the wall. At Castle Black, Edison Tollett watches Jon Snow pack up his things. Where we last left off at the end of the last episode, he basically was like, "My watch is ended. Fuck this. I'm done with this whole shit."
Got a whole new look going. Got
Yeah.
a haircut. Got everything going.
John was kind of over it after hanging Ollie, a child, and being like, I'm over this now. I've come back to life, and I've done my time. His watch has technically ended, as he did die a person of the Night's Watch, right? So, I mean, technically, you want to get technical about it. He did die so he like.
Yeah, he didn't. It's not
once
like
you
he's
die,
going against it.
Once you die as a member of the Night's Watch, your watch is ended, right? Like
so there's only what was it, 2 ways out? You die, or
that's right.
Or what was the other one? Oh fuck, you couldn't have sex, right?
Well, that's one of the things we can't do. Yeah, but
yeah, no, there was something else. No, I guess it was just if you die. I guess
pretty much.
Sense, eh?
Unless you get kicked out or something, But anyways,
pretty much kicking out means dying.
Yeah. Ed scolds John for leaving the Night's Watch after taking an oath, to which John replies that he gave his life for the Night's Watch and can't trust his Watch brothers after what happened to him, which I can't fucking blame him, honestly. I'm like,
I gotta watch your back, man.
Right. Ed reminds him that they both saw what happened at Hardhome and that the enemy is still coming for them. At that moment, the horns sound for the arrival of travelers. Sansa Stark, Brienne of Tarth, and Podrick Payne ride through the gates and dismount in the courtyard. Jon rushes out to see his half-sister Sansa for the first time since their family left Winterfell, and they embrace. Thank fucking God, finally somebody has finally met up with a family member in this. I'm glad they gave us this moment, because like,
she was like a couple days earlier, he would have been dead.
But how many times have we seen this happen already, where they're like, they just barely cross paths with each other? You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
dead, bro.
Yeah.
If she would have came 2 days earlier, bro.
Yeah. Like, how many times does that happen with Arya? She's literally on her way to see Rob. Oh, he's dead. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Fuck, man.
I'm just glad finally we got a moment where these two.
It's Rob's fucking dire wolf that died.
I said that already. Yeah,
I'm thinking. Okay,
that was a conversation from last episode. Get over it. We were trying to figure out which dire wolves are still alive, guys. So yeah, there you have it. Sansa has no fucking dire wolf here, so yeah, clearly, that's
apparently.
Yeah. I think it's just Jon, honestly, at this point, right?
Maybe, probably.
Anyways,
moving on.
Right. Later that night, they converse and reminisce on their childhood. Sansa proposes they take Winterfell back from the Boltons, but Jon says he's done fighting, especially after hanging Ollie. Listen, having killed, the Night's Watch, Wildlings boys younger than Bronn, Sansa says, I'll do it myself if I have to, basically, right? Like, that's
the balls.
It was kind of an interesting bold move on her part. What's going on? You playing with the mic over there? Or?
No, I just changed my name.
No,
I forgot. I didn't do that.
I've forgotten. I've been forgetting too. Actually, now you've done that. Oh, look at that.
My computer. When I come on my computer, it all come on my computer. Do that a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's not working.
Maybe.
Sorry. It automatically shows up, and then I got to take it off when I do the other live show. So it throws me.
There you go. We changed it
to the later the night gets, the better I get.
Yeah, I get a rare, very late night recording here with Jay doing this tonight, guys. So yeah,
it's the best of me right now.
Yeah. This is the most energetic you've ever seen JT on the show here. But yeah, as I was saying, she kind of says like, I'll do it myself if I have to Jon. I was like, what the hell?
She's straight up proven that out of most people in this fucking, like most of the women, not for anything, but most of the women in this series, she's proven that she's tough and she can handle herself regardless of, how she doesn't look like she could be that tough one. I mean, you got Cersei that looks tough. You got, Khaleesi's over there that looks tough, but she doesn't. She looks so innocent still. And yet she's
been through a lot.
Yeah, she's been through the fucking reams of fucking Jeffrey and fucking Ramsay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like poor girl. Like she's been through some fucked up people. So she's had her time, man. So I'd like to see what happens here. I didn't want to give it away about the reunion, but I knew that was the first thing coming up, so
Yeah.
we would get into it right away.
I'm just glad that we finally got a moment for these people together because, like I said, there's been a lot of bullshitty type stuff happening where they're like, "Oh, he was just around that corner," and they just happen to miss each other. You know what I mean? So, like, I love, I let out a sigh of relief literally while I was watching this episode. I was like, finally, I was like, what the hell, man? Because there's so many
They would have
times.
crossed paths too. If they would have left.
And again, this is just after so many instances where that had already has happened to other members of their family, like crossing paths with one another, and like
I still didn't think of that until you kind of mentioned it. I know they have been, but yeah, and then now I just realized that you could have.
There's even the moment where Bronn seen Jon during that fight from the watchtower. Remember, like he couldn't come down, like and then he went inside like the direwolf and stuff like that. Remember?
Yeah.
There was a whole scene where Jon was gonna see Bronn finally.
Yeah.
And that they couldn't hook up with each other because that was during the whole wildling fight. Like when
Rickon ever crossed paths with anybody?
No,
right?
No. So like
Arya either, right?
No. They need
Arya seen them all when her dad died.
Rob was always with their mother, who didn't see any of her kids before she died, right? Like that's what I mean. Like so, like they've all being separated from each other since the first season.
Since the separation.
Yeah. That's So since the separation of Ned Stark's head from his shoulders.
It just fucked up the whole family.
So like honestly, like
wow.
Yeah. So like this is a very
heartfelt,
and like important moment for these characters.
So
like
she survived just like Jon survived.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a fucking cool moment.
Yeah.
And it's finally like, okay, what are they gonna do? The fucking oldest now.
Yeah.
Let's see what they're gonna do. They're gonna fucking take over Winterfell.
Well, I mean, she wants to clearly. I mean, that's I
can't wait to see what happens. But this is where this is where the show better start turning to where I like and not end with a fucking stupid ending season. Okay, because if that happened, and Nico's laughing because I'm not ready for one of those fucking talks because I don't want to be in that situation where they were in last time when they were talking about this. Okay, because I like endings to series, and I can deal with shitty ones, but they cannot be automatically shit.
We'll see. Time will tell as we continue on our journey here, guys.
They've got me at the peak right now. I'm up there with them right now.
So this next scene, we got dude. No, it's okay. Davos Seaworth. He asks whether Melisandre will stay at Castle Black, and she replies that she will do as Jon Snow, the prince that was promised, commands. Davos asks what happened to Stannis, and she replies he was defeated in battle. When he asks about Shireen, Melisandre is reluctant to speak. Their conversation is interrupted by Brienne, who recognizes Davos and Melisandre as Stannis' former entourage. Still bitter over the death of King Renly Baratheon, Brienne warns Melisandre that she does not forget or forgive. She also tells him that she executed Stannis after he admitted using blood magic to assassinate Renly. Now, this is the first time we may have had confirmation that she did kill him, because remember, we didn't see her kill him.
We just seen somebody kill him.
We see there's a sword swung, and she kind of has him dying, bleeding out up against a tree, and we didn't see it.
But he quoted something at that point when he looked at whoever it was at that point, right? And then he took the shot. Like I think it was, didn't he get it?
Stannis as he was dying, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, he kind of just said, like, get her over with already. Like, he's basically dead. Like, this is after he was bleeding out, and she kind of came and met him. And she said her whole piece about how he is responsible. He made him admit that he was the one that was responsible for fucking killing Renly with using the blood magic shit. Like that's
so he ratted him. He basically ratted himself out to her.
Well, she this whole time she wasn't certain of what they saw, right? So she stated this to him, and he admitted that was the case. That's why she's hating on Melisandre here, because she knows that she's responsible for technically doing that and killing Renly as
being able to have the blood magic.
Exactly.
Handy.
Right. Yeah. So this is
handy.
Yeah. But that was another good part. Another meeting,
Forget.
another meetup that was kind of long overdue, right? This kind of like her having come to terms with the fact that this is the reason that Renly got killed, right? Like he knows now, like, and she confirms in this scene that he is dead. She says, "I killed
It's
him."
not like they were sleeping together, but still, it's like she was the guard. She was his guard.
Yeah.
So
So
that was crazy. And I'm happy that she's really throwing her weight around there. She's just not afraid of nobody.
Brienne.
Brienne,
Yeah.
she doesn't care anymore. She's been through the fucking. I can only imagine just before she became a knight, what she went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this world,
It's a great character though.
Great.
And then at Runestone, we got Robin Arryn training as
I call him the Titty Lord.
Training is archery with Lord Yon Royce. However,
I forgot his name, so I literally called him Titty Lord because I remember sucking on
his mom's tits.
Until like last year.
Yeah. However, Robin is just as pitiful at archery as he is at swordsmanship.
Yeah.
Peter Baelish arrives with the Arryn guards.
Peter.
And a pet falcon as a belated name day gift for Robin, much to his delight. Royce reminds Baelish that Baelish told him that he was taking Robin's cousin Sansa with him to the Fingers, but Royce received word that she had been married to Ramsay Bolton. Baelish tells him that on the way to the Fingers, he and Sansa were set upon by a large force of Bolton men.
Yeah.
A confrontation between Peter and Royce ensues, in which Peter accuses Royce of giving away the information regarding the location of Sansa Stark to House Bolton, basically calling him the rat. Yeah,
but he never really denied it.
Things get tense in this moment, and
I was hoping, bro.
Yeah, and of course, with what's his name, Robin being obsessed with the moon door, he's just like, oh, maybe I'll just throw him out the moon door, and he has to like grovel, like almost be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, yeah, please ignore my right, like. Peter's got the hold on him though, right? Yeah. Baelish is like, I don't know, Robin. Maybe we should give him another chance. What do you think? Yeah. He's like, right. He's like distracted. He's like looking at the bird and shit. He's like, whatever.
Kid, dude, hilarious.
Yeah. But Baelish is controlling him though. Yeah.
Baelish has got him because this is his uncle.
Yeah.
Or that's the one that married his mom.
That's right. Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah.
He calls him Uncle Peter.
That's right.
So he really has a drawing towards him. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
I wonder where Baelish is going to use this to his advantage, because we know that he likes to use things to his advantage. Him and Varys are perfect.
Yep.
And you can see it just in this moment that he says, okay, we'll spare for this. I was hoping too, man, that they were going to throw him out the moon door. I wanted to see it again. I haven't seen it since that episode, bro.
Yeah.
So, I was hoping, man, but I even put the LOL, but no, nothing, man. We haven't seen anything.
Yeah, so he tells them on the way to the Fingers, they were a group of large force of Bolton men came. A confrontation between Peter and Royce ensues, in which Peter accuses Royce of giving away the information regarding their location. When Royce accuses Baelish of slander, Peter reminds him that Robin is the Lord of the Vale and asks for his judgment. Mm-hmm. Robin then asks Baelish if they should throw Lord Royce from the moon door, which prompts the surrounding knights, including those loyal to Royce, to muster themselves. Royce swears his loyalty to Robin, and he is let off without punishment on Baelish's recommendation. Royce comes to the dark realization that Littlefinger has control over Robin. Peter and Robin decide they have to muster the Vale Knights to march north and aid Sansa. And again, he puts this idea in his head.
But he makes them fucking vow that they're going to fucking fight. Like he even says it. If you want to survive and not go out that moon door, basically, in a sense, he's saying, you better take your what is it? The Knights of the Vale and attack the fray.
Yeah. I also wanted to point out the fact that, like, this kid, if this is the same kid, which it looks like it is, had quite a growth spurt in between seasons. I mean,
kind of acting more.
If it's the same, I think it is. It looks like the same.
Not developed mentally than the other kid. The other kid was more like a kid,
right?
But I'm pretty sure it is the same kid, and it's been a season since we've seen him or two, right?
Yes.
So I mean, he's had to have aged a little bit. So, I'd like to see if he ever has more of a character than this or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll see.
they keep just popping him out of nowhere.
Yes.
And they bring the reference to Moondor and they show you one time and that's it. It's like, wow, come on, I want to know more, man. Like, come on, let's really get into this.
Yeah, I love the Moondor
I don't
too.
even know where it's attached to. We still haven't figured
Well,
out.
it's
Where's
attached to
castle,
the
right?
it's attached to the castle that's in the mountains, essentially, right?
Yeah,
So,
which is weird. It's just,
yeah.
I want to. They don't even show the
There you go.
diagrams.
More Moondor. Jay wants more Moondor.
I want more movie.
So
Sounds like a dirty word, bro.
I know. All right, then back in Marine, Tyrion Lannister, along with Grey Worm, Missandei, and Varys, meet with representatives of the good masters of Astapor, the wise masters of Yunkai, and the slave trading city of Volantis, who have arrived by sea. As the diplomatic mission enters the harbor, Grey Worm advocates using military force. When Tyrion explains that he is able to empathize with slaves because he spent one day as a slave, Missandei counters that he has not truly experienced slavery. The emissaries are Tyrion's former slave master, Yazanzo Quagas.
I
I
don't
don't know.
even write the names down anymore. I've given up on some of
There's some hard ones. The Yunkai,
I'm going to use it.
the Yunkai's wise master Razdal Moraz, and the Volantine triarch Beliko Paimon.
Paimon.
Yeah.
Hey, no, but
Paimon.
Hey, I give you credit for being able to pronounce these words.
I'm trying. I'm sure I'm
wouldn't even-
butchering them.
No,
I'm
but you
sure
know
I'm
what?
butchering them.
They would be a lot better than I would even try to write them down. Oh, dude.
The best quote here is like, "How many days were you a slave? Long enough to know."
Quotes for us, man, today.
Oh, I know.
We're in person.
I like when they asked him. They was like, "How many days were you a slave exactly?" He's like, "Long enough to know, not long enough to understand." Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, yeah,
long enough to know what it sucks. It sucks, but not long enough to understand how bad it is.
I gotta admit though, I like Tyrion's way of politicking, like where he throws whores and booze at the situation. He's just like, hey, after our meeting, just bring in these whores. All the whores come in.
Well, isn't that the way to do it, man? Yeah. We don't know what happens behind a closed door.
Yeah.
Politicians.
He just makes them happy in that sense, right?
We've all met Rob Ford one time.
In their meeting chambers, Yazan marvels that Tyrion has gone from being a nearly worthless slave to the de facto ruler of Marine.
It's so true, right?
Yeah. Because even like, like for him to see that, like as somebody who was actually a slave of his at one point now, and like across the table having this fucking conversation with him, he's like, "What the hell? What happened?" Yeah.
He knows how to talk his way. He's just good, man.
Yeah.
He's the Lannister.
The slave trading cities offer to give Daenerys Targaryen and her mercenaries a large pot of money if they sail away from Slaver's Bay. When Missandei defends Daenerys' actions in liberating slaves, Razdal contends that slavery has existed for centuries. Tyrion brings up that they do not require slaves in order to profit, noting that he matured with vast wealth to his Lannister name back in Westeros, where no slavery is sanctioned. Razdal and Beliko look at each other insulted, while Yazan merely looks away from Tyrion. He appears to be contemplating the dwarf's words of maintaining livelihood without the use of slaves. After hearing their offer, Tyrion proposes a counter-offer. He offers to give them a 7-year grace period to phase out slavery and to compensate slave owners that way. Their eventual loss of slaves will not be so detrimental to them. However, they must end all backing for the Sons of the Harpy. He then cautions them that they will not get a better offer. Tyrion then gives them time to consider his offer, though Grey Worm and Missandei insist on abolishing slavery. Well, and that's when the whores come in.
Well, that's the thing. He tries to take. I'm pretty sure what they call it is the diplomatic approach.
Yes.
About it, right?
Yeah.
So it says you make peace with your enemies and not with your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good quote that he uses in that one, right? And that's almost like a wise man once said.
Right.
Sort of
well,
thing, right?
Missandei and Grey Worm just don't think he knows who he's dealing with, and he's trying to reassure them. He's like, I know exactly the type of person I'm dealing with here, but like
with this, because this comes from a
rich
family, and the problem is they don't understand that when you come from a rich family like Tyrion did,
you have to do business with a lot of fucking like people you don't want to do. Right. But that's what I mean. They're refusing to do business with him because they know of who he is and they were previously slaves.
Yes.
Which I get where they're coming from with the moral high ground of like, I will not do business with this man. But but you're right. Tyrion is trying to give them the like the other side of that, being like, I'm sorry, but we have to do business with these people, or else, like, what do you want us to go to war with them? Like,
Well,
that's me. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Saying the slavery thing and giving them 7 years, he's giving them a chance
Right.
to realize
Yes.
and how to work around that whole thing.
Because he puts the idea in their head. He's like, you don't need slaves to profit. There's many other ways to profit. Yeah.
And about that they don't have to be slaves, then the generations change. It's a whole
Mhm.
generation gap. I've seen them try it with cigarettes and stuff in
Mhm.
certain countries where they get banned at like 20 years earlier.
Mhm.
So it's only certain people can get it. And I think it's a good approach to things because
Mhm.
it slowly phases out generations,
Yes.
which is going to happen anyways because that's unfortunately the way of death.
It's a very interesting and smart approach on
There
Tyrion's
was great
part.
quotes
Yeah.
that he used in that thing against these guys. There was
Mhm.
great quotes. And like I said, if I had my double screen here to check them all out, I would be trying to pop them up.
Listen, he's playing chess. They're playing checkers. You know what I
He's
mean? Like,
ahead of
yeah.
he
That's what
knows
I
what he's
mean.
doing. They still don't know about what's her name, Grey Worm?
Masande and Grey Worm, yeah.
They don't really trust it.
No.
No, they don't. They're still kind of on the edge. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's quite evidence in this next scene, though. This is an interesting move, though, on his part. Tyrion and his entourage are later confronted by a crowd of former slaves in the Marine throne room. A freedman demands to know where Daenerys will return, while another is appalled by the idea of Tyrion negotiating with slave traders. Tyrion insists that he is doing his best to rule the city in Daenerys' absence. The freedmen do not trust Tyrion, a foreigner and a newcomer, and look to Grey Worm and Missandei for reassurance.
Yeah.
Despite their misgivings, they both publicly back Tyrion's diplomacy in front of the freedmen. They kind of put their
They used his words. They repeated his words. Basically.
Right, but they also like they didn't like having to get like
you've seen that too.
Well, they didn't like having to vouch for him, but they were like, you better be right about what you're saying right now because I'm going to lie. They lied for him essentially and say like, this is
what they believe in.
Right.
But if it works, then they can't look like they were against him.
Right. So despite so basically in private, Grey Worm and Missandei warn Tyrion that the masters will outmaneuver him despite his best efforts to do the same to them. They're convinced that Tyrion is still making a bad decision in the sense like you don't know who you're dealing with. This man will not succumb to your you know what I mean, like your plan, like the one that you and they think it's kind of ridiculous that they're giving him that much time to work with 7 years. He's like no, you're just not seeing it from my
have they met before, the Masters and the Lannisters there? He's probably met him before at one point, right?
I don't think so. No,
because I know he said a joke about saying something about they sent a dwarf instead.
Listen, they put their necks on the line though, Missandei and Grey Worm in this because
their own people.
That's right. Yeah. And what they believe in, because they're like, okay, well, if the Daenerys believes in this man, then I will believe in this man now, because even though at every opportunity here, they're like, you're wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're going about this wrong way.
Khaleesi's there. What's her name?
Daenerys. Yeah,
she is who she says she is. She will take care of it all in the end, anyways.
Right?
Regardless if not, you have the fucking dragons burn everything up.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the way his man. You got to play that kind of game. You got to try to.
Well, we'll
step ahead.
We'll see when she makes it back what she thinks of what he's been up to, right? Because we don't really know. We don't really know right now, right? Yeah. So we just have to put our trust in that, in the fact that she actually granted Tyrion. Tyrion does have power right now as a result of him being the representative of Daenerys in this situation, right?
He is the smartest one too to represent, if anything, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Varys believes in a. You know what I mean? He's already back to his
Varys is good too.
Yeah. So, but then we got
Jorah.
We got Jorah Mormont and Daario approach.
Daario. I keep fucking forgetting.
Yeah, approach the outskirts of Vaz Dothrak and discard their weapons, as drawing a blade in the city is considered sacrilege.
So weird.
Yeah, it's
such a fucking weird city like that, such an animal city like that.
Yeah,
they can't have that weapon.
Jorah estimates that there are 100,000 Dothraki in the city.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
wild horses.
Dario also sees his grayscale in this scene for the first time. Yeah.
He didn't touch it.
Yeah.
But
So he kind of sees it in this scene, and he kind of just like, yeah, don't worry about that. Like, but
even though he knows he's in
yeah.
Fuck, man.
So within the city itself, Jorah and Dario run afoul of Ago and Igo, who see through Jorah's claims to be a wine merchant.
But he sneaked his knife in. He didn't remind
That's
him
right.
Of that, right?
Yeah. Dario takes care of Igo while Ago tackles Jorah. The night is nearly undone, but Dario saves him at the last minute with the stiletto he smuggled in. As a precaution, Dario smashes Ago's skull with a rock to disguise his use of a bladed weapon, because he's like, we're going to get caught now. They're going to see it's a weapon. He's like, I'll fix that. He smashes it with a rock.
That starts going to town, man. That was like, they didn't even show it. They just like, you hear the sound of
yeah. I love this line too, though. He's like, I told you, I'm very attached to this knife. He's like, right, remember, he's like, you gotta leave your weapons here. Bro. He was right? I like how Dario kind of makes these decisions on his own, right? Like, yeah, it's true. I also like the quote when those two were talking, where previous to this, like going to the city where Dario is like, I don't think you can ride the dragon. She's a wild one, and I'm a young man. Like, speaking of Daenerys, right?
You know what? I think that kind of, when seeing the grayscale, kind of reassured him that,
yes, that he's got limited time. Yeah,
he does, and he's not gonna end up. He's gonna follow what he believes, and he's not gonna have his chance.
No, I think Dario kind of put his thoughts aside. Like, he put his thoughts to rest about him being worried about him going for her when he saw that. Yeah,
Jorah's not gonna touch him when having grayscale, especially if they don't know what it is.
That's right. Yeah. So
I can't wait to see what he turns into.
Meanwhile, the high priestess of the Dosh Khaleen gives Daenerys a commentary on the other old ladies there.
I call them all the ex-wives of the Dothrakis.
You know what they wrote here? Right? Yeah, that's what they are. But in this
widows.
On these notes here that I pulled, it says here the other crones. They wrote here.
The other crones. That's a good one. But
old broads.
Yeah, but they're the widows, right?
Yeah, some of them hate Daenerys, thinking the Dothraki should not interbreed with other races. But the high priestess dismisses them, saying that the Dothraki have always interbred and have never been concerned with blood purity. To illustrate her point, the high priestess indicates another of the Khaleen, a Lazarene girl taken from her village at the age of 12. Daenerys asks to relieve herself, and the high priestess sends Ornella with her. As they walk, Daenerys learns that Omella's cow died when she was only 16. The pair are interrupted. Yeah, the pair are interrupted by Jorah and Dario, who take the Lazarene hostage. Daenerys, unsurprised to see them, cancels their plans for escape. They have a slim chance of leaving Vast Dothrak, let alone getting back to Meereen, and tells them that she has a plan of her own. She asks Ornella if she is willing to help them, calling her Khaleesi instead of a Khaleen, which means crone. The girl reluctantly agrees. So yeah, there you go. That's an interesting kind of move there. In the last minute, she kind of feels for this young girl amongst them, right?
Well, there he almost killed her, right? He was going to kill her, right?
Yeah,
just leave her there.
Yeah,
but he had to have her work with them. She's going to work with them, I'm pretty sure now. So that'll be interesting, especially when we see what happens.
Yeah. So then we're back over to King's Landing here. Underneath the great sept of Baelor, Septa Unella enters Queen Marjorie Tyrell's cell and leads her to a private meeting with the High Sparrow.
This is weird.
Yeah. The High Sparrow asks Marjorie what she would do if she was allowed to leave that day. Marjorie replies that she wants to return to her family and her husband, Tommen Baratheon. The High Sparrow respects her love for her family, but tells her that attachment leads to sin, citing his experience as a cobbler. Marjorie manages to impress the Sparrow with her knowledge of the Book of the Stranger, which she admits Septa Unella had read at her. The High Sparrow chuckles and agrees that Unella has a habit of reading at people instead of to them, right? It's like just barking the fucking words to the book at them. And
choice. You better listen if I have to read it.
Yeah. The High Sparrow recounts how in his youth he was a womanizer and drunkard. He underwent a conversion experience the morning after an orgy as his drunken guests lay naked all around his house.
I mean, he sounded like he had a good time. Why can't he be understanding?
Right?
Right?
Right? This is kind of when he opens up like this the first time, right?
His life, man. He sounded for an old man. He sounded like he's partied, man.
Tired of what he's now perceiving as a meaningless existence, the High Sparrow turned his life around and became a devoted member of the Faith of the Seven. He then left his job as a cobbler and devoted his life to the poor and destitute. Believing he has found a way to reach Marjorie, the Sparrow allows her to visit her brother Loras Tyrell. These two reunite for the first time in a while.
You get to see the. Oh man, that's crazy.
She finds a dejected Loras lying on the floor of his cell. Loras has lost the will to continue resisting, but Marjorie tells him to stay strong because he is the future of House Tyrell. Loras tells them that he only wants his imprisonment to end and pleads with her to help him. Marjorie tells Loras that the Sparrow is trying to use them to break each other and again tells him to stay strong.
Yeah. I just don't know that whole thing. Like, they must be taking it. They must be harder on him for some reason, because it's either that or he's just got no balls.
Wow.
I mean, we also know, that. I mean, I'm not gonna go there, but So, but
at the Red Keep, Cersei Lannister walks in on Grandmaster Pycelle advising King Tommen to accommodate the High Sparrow and the Faith Militant. Cersei requests that Pycelle leave the room while she talks to her son alone, under the pretext of meeting him for updates about the previous small council meetings. Basically, she talks to her son under the pretext of meeting him for updates about the previous small council meetings. During their conversation, Tommen proposes that the Iron Throne not antagonize the Sparrow further in an effort to avoid endangering Marjorie's life. Cersei reminds her son about the humiliation she endured at the Sparrow's hands and exploits Tommen's love for Marjorie. She convinces her son that the High Sparrow has no respect for kings, queens, and society. Tommen then reveals a secret that the High Sparrow shared with him in this scene.
Get into it. He gets close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say something.
I love how that idiot Grandmaster Pycelle shuffles around, the guy who acts like an old ass man all the time, bro. Like,
we've seen
like when she like excuses him, he's just like, he shuffles off.
Even though he can fucking run.
I love how he shuffles around, man.
Pilates every day. Fuck.
I also love like seeing these scenes now where they have to basically work together to take down the monster that Cersei created with this whole situation with the, like, this is of her own doing, right? This whole religion, like
she's stupid. She tried to get these guys involved, and now look what happened.
Right. A question here I had a theory of. The High Sparrow, is this like some sort of like a priest thing where he comes on to little boys? Or like, why would he divulge this information to him? It seems like they have their little meetings, those two, where they kind of get along with one another. Am I reading into it too much? Because I don't know. The High Sparrow with Tommen, like the fact that he has this information that he shared with Tommen, like they seem like they kind of
on the thing beside him.
I don't know, they just have these conversations together.
Did he
these
have his
two
hand on his leg? I don't know, bro.
Maybe. I don't know if this is like them trying to reference the fact that he's a priest and he likes little boys. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just interesting.
I mean, they could have.
Right.
I mean, he's not okay. I don't know. They didn't really. They're not saying the priest. He's not really a priest. He's a High Sparrow.
Right.
So, but they're leading him to look like a priest.
I just don't know why he would share this information with them. Right? Like, did he slip up or what?
To basically say that his mother is maybe his father is guilty too. So, he's a bastard. So it's I don't know, man. I don't know why he would do that.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe he got worried.
I don't know,
because you know what, he is the king, and the king could fucking end it.
Yeah.
Right. Because
I don't know if that was them like commenting on the fact that this guy has a thing for him or something like that. Maybe like, you know what I mean?
Because if you look at it, it is all certain age boys,
right?
That are there,
that he's confiding in, right? That and then he has following him and stuff like that.
It is weird. Yeah.
I just usually when there's somebody who's accusatory of other people's actions, they have also skeletons in their closet, right?
Yeah.
So that's what, like, being that he has this past to him that we've just found out a moment ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems a little too convenient that, right?
Was he like Karstark there? Was he like
Right, but maybe he's attracted to men too, right? Or
boy?
young boys. Yeah, I don't know, right? I mean,
it could be
something to think about. I don't know. I just I just had that thought while watching this
'cause,
scene,
yeah. I mean, they could play that off,
right?
like it could be played off as that too, right?
Armed with this new information, Cersei barges into a small council meeting between Kevin Lannister, Olenna Tyrell, and Jaime Lannister. While Kevin and Olenna are initially hostile, Cersei convinces them to listen to her. She then informs the council that the High Sparrow has planned to make Marjorie do the Walk of Atonement, which is the information that he had shared the High Sparrow with Tommen in their last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Olenna is horrified that the Sparrows plan to debase her granddaughter.
Yeah.
Jaime then urges, and of course, the Walk of Atonement, as we already know, is what happened to Cersei and that, right?
And everything.
Olenna is horrified.
Marjorie really didn't do much.
Olenna is horrified that the Sparrows plan to debase her granddaughter. Jaime then urges the council to allow Tyrells to march their army into King's Landing, crush the Faith militant, and bring Marjorie and Loras back to the Red Keep into Crown custody. Kevin says that Tommen expressly forbid him to use the Lannister army. He commands at the city to make a move against the Great Sept for fear that the Faith militant will harm Marjorie in retaliation. Jaime suggests that Olenna send House Tyrell's army to the city instead and points out to his uncle that Tommen only forbade his army from making a move, but he never expressly told them to prevent anyone else from trying. So Kevin wouldn't be breaking any commands if his forces simply stand down when the Tyrell army arrives. The Tyrell army will surround the Great Sept, intimidating the Sparrows into releasing Marjorie and Loras without any blood actually being shed. And by the time Tommen finds out that what they've done, he will already be happy with the outcome. Kevin's interest is now turned, but he still expresses reluctance should they fail. Cersei is able to make him change his mind by exploiting his hatred towards the Sparrows for taking his last remaining son and their heir, Lancel Lannister. Olenna agrees that blood will be shed no matter what they do at this point, so it's better if it's the Sparrow's blood and not theirs. Oh, Olenna's down. Olenna's just like, yeah, fuck it. Like, she's like, I'll give in with you finally. Yeah. Finally, I just like how Cersei sold it to them. She's like, listen, we don't like each other. We have to work with one another to take these people out. Yeah, right? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm just wondering where her plan's going too, because it's not okay. If she's not sending in her army, she's not sending in the Lannisters aren't sending in their army.
You're right. The optics are that the Tyrells are the ones that are doing this here. Yeah. Right. But they say they don't have a choice because of the king's it doesn't want.
But it's almost like in case the Lannisters, in case the Tyrells lose to these high sport,
Marjorie might die as a result, and then it will kind of be what Cersei wants anyways, right? Right.
I have to go to war with these guys now and see what the fuck happens.
Or the Lannisters could just bow back and be like, "Oh well, we didn't want this." So, like, you know what I mean? Clearly, the Tyrells
playing her fucking cheer. She's playing her piece,
right? This could be the way to get the Tyrells out of King's Landing.
Yeah, I don't know. In the way you're giving me that look, it's like, maybe I should start thinking like that. I did catch that because it's like she's a little bit of a snake. So
of course she's a snake. She's more than a snake.
And even though with her, everybody, there's nobody else on the line. She's back home, right? Mm-hmm. So the only thing is her son. Is her son still there?
What?
Is he still there just chilling?
Whose son?
Talking to the priest?
Whose son?
Lannister? What's his
Cersei? Tommen? Yeah, I mean he just spoke with Cersei a moment ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's her only kid, right? That's it. It's just him.
So nobody else that she has that she cares about is really there except
her daughter's dead, bro.
Care about Marjorie. Her daughter's dead.
Yeah.
And
she only has the one son.
Fuck, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a Tyrell.
That's a Tyrell. Yeah.
So really basically they have two Tyrells.
Exactly.
Out of a religion that fucking
but she's coming to them knowing that they want their kids, her grandchildren, obviously freed. So they're using that to their advantage right now, right? To get them to help them. So
yeah, fucking bitch. She's smarter than I thought.
Yeah, well, let's see how this all plays out. This is them making their move now, right? Let's see how this all plays out.
I kind of got what they were saying because it was quick.
Yeah,
but hearing you just say it again in my head and me seeing what I wrote out,
right?
It makes it look like she's planning for herself. Anyways, in the end,
I don't know. I guess we'll see, right? I mean, it's an interesting way of looking at it, right?
Fucking bitch. I'm really not liking it.
Yeah. Oh, All right, so now we're back over in Pike here. Theon
Weird.
returns home to Pike, where he learns of the death of his father, Balon Greyjoy, who we just witnessed. He got thrown off of that bridge in the rain by his brother. Right?
That was crazy.
That was crazy. His long lost brother that showed up, who was thought dead, just shows up out of nowhere and
Where
kills
is
him.
he now?
I mean, his brother? Yeah, we don't know yet. They haven't
He
shown it.
hasn't come back yet.
His sister,
Fucking tease.
his sister Yara is unhappy about his return and his earlier refusal to leave the Dreadfort when she made an attempt to rescue him from Ramsay Bolton. Theon explains that Ramsay broke him into 1,000 pieces, which Yara affirms, yes, he sent one of us one of those pieces.
So he did get the dick.
Yeah, of course. We've seen that scene.
But it wasn't a finger or anything.
No, it was his dick. Yeah, that's what he sent to his father, and his father was just like, whatever.
I thought he was cooking the dick.
Why do you think Yara went to save him because of that? No, he fucked with him when he was frying sausage on the frying pan, right? Yeah, you're forgetting.
I'm forgetting. But no, I'm seeing the scenes, but I'm forgetting what it was on there.
So yes, she says he sent us one of those pieces, referring to the box containing Theon's penis that she and Balon Greyjoy received. Yara suspects that Theon has come back to declare himself king of the Iron Islands in light of the news of their father dying, right? But he insists that he does not want the crown. Instead, he wants for Yara to rule and offers to help her in any way that he can. I mean, good of him, right? I mean, to be like,
he's not
he's no ruler. He's no ruler.
Not even beforehand. He was.
He just wants to help her, like get her rightful place on the throne.
He's
right?
tough, man. She can see it. Like, and I was just watching her as like they haven't seen her that much.
Yeah.
But now we're probably going to see a little bit more of her. So.
Yeah. All right, then back at Winterfell, Osha is brought before Ramsay Bolton, who says that while her fellow captive,
the one that was with Thing,
with Bronn, yeah. So she's been around a while. She's brought before Ramsay Bolton, who says that while her fellow captive Rickon Stark has value to Ramsay, he is unsure of her worth. Osha denounces the Starks, saying that her servitude and loyalty to them were forced. She also attempts to seduce Ramsay, climbing onto his lap and kissing him, all the while trying to get the knife he had been using to peel apples.
So he was eating that. He was just chilling the apple, and he was even. I like what she says about how that when he was just about, when she was about to seduce him, that about the whore, but basically the ones that they want to do. He actually gives them a shower first, right? If he really, right? Oh, dude.
Ramsay seemingly falls for it, saying that it took much longer for him to get Theon Greyjoy over to his side, but that Theon told him everything, including how Osha had seduced Theon in order to help Rickon and Bran Stark escape Winterfell, which did happen. Osha did trick him and sleep with him, remember? And that was the reason that they were able to get away that time. Yeah. Osha realizes that she has been lured into a trap, and just a little too late on realizing this, unfortunately, and tries to stab Ramsay, only for him to slash her throat first. Another one bites the dust. He resumes peeling his apple complacently as she dies on the floor.
He didn't even wipe the apple off,
No more Osha, unfortunately. So Osha no longer going to be joining Bran. But there's really no point of having her around anymore because she's not with Bronn anymore. Yeah. So, like, what does it matter, right? I mean,
he was doing the perfect peel and everything with that apple.
I thought she was smarter than that. She met her match with Ramsay, right? Because she's been doing a good job of fucking going about, and she can handle her own. Osha has survived a lot and has a lot of things that have been thrown her way in the course of this show, right? But unfortunately, Ramsay she met her match with Ramsay, right?
I wouldn't have been able to think straight, bro, if that happened.
Yeah.
If it was inside.
Ramsay was eating the apple like that Pierre Poilievre guy. Do you see that? Like, you ever see that video of him eating the apple with the interviewer asking him the questions?
Yeah. But I haven't. That's what I mean. But I haven't
Poilievre, whatever you say his name.
My penis was inside a chick. I don't know if I'd be able to think.
Yeah, the little head would be thinking for you, eh? Yeah,
I'd be screwed at that point.
No, Ramsay just saw through that bullshit, right?
Yeah, right. So. It was good, man.
Then sometime later, Jon receives a letter from Ramsay Bolton in this scene stating that he is Rickon Stark at Winterfell. And if Sansa is not returned, this is terrible. And if Sansa is not returned, he will slaughter every wildling at Castle Black. Let his men rape Sansa and feed Jon and Rickon to his dogs. Jon asks Tormund how many men he has available to fight, and Tormund replies that he has 2,000 able fighters, far less than the estimated 5,000 that Ramsay has. Sansa says that they have to try to retake their home and rescue their brother, and that the houses of the North will unite behind Jon as the son of Ned Stark, the last and true warden of the North. Jon agrees to take Ramsay down in this scene finally, but it's just, but she has to pull the thing out of his hands, because remember, like, he tries not to say it, and she reads it. She's like, "I will rape your," like, yeah, Sansa, yeah, because he doesn't want to upset her, right? Like, he's reading this, he's like, yeah, okay, that's fucked up, right? And like, and then Sansa, but Sansa, knowing who they're dealing with, like, warns him. She's like, "No, we have to fucking make a move on this guy. Like, he is not lying. He will do this shit. Like, he is very serious about how sadistic, how fucking sadistic this guy is, right?"
She only fucking knew.
She dealt with it.
If you only met Theon again.
Bro, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, it's on fucking now, bro. I was like, got so fucking excited. I'm like, oh shit, Battle of the Bastards, bro.
She made a point too. She said that everybody's gonna listen to him if he goes.
Thank God for Sansa riling him up in this moment, right? Because he needed it. Because Jon just falls into these things where he starts feeling sorry for himself, right? Because he got, kind of like JT, same kind of thing. Bro, she had to rile him up, though. She had to get him going, right? Tormund's down to ride too, though. I love it. Tormund's his boy.
2,000 people, man.
Yeah.
Which, like, doesn't he have those giants, or at least one of them still? Wasn't that the wilding?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they have the giant. Yeah,
that's some weird shit.
But yeah, I mean, like, listen, I mean, this letter is hardcore, this scene, right? Like,
it was well, I didn't write it down, but it was a great, like, it was putting, you can tell it was a Ramsay letter, and that he's gonna fucking do all this shit, and so I like to see what happens, because he's going up against the Boltons now, right? So I mean, he's not going up against the Little House, period.
Right.
But the father's dead, so it's only Ramsay now.
Another thing that happened in this scene is because they're sitting there eating the shitty food at the start of this, right? And they got, they only got like so much food to go around, and they're kind of forced. And Brienne, they're trying to like be polite and like eat this gross fucking food. Yeah. In this scene, the fascination between Tormund and Brienne starts too. I don't know if you've seen him eyeing her when he's eating his food, but he has the hots for Brienne.
A big woman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, he yet to know that she not gonna do it, dude.
But if you remember, I kind of mentioned it the last time that happened too. When she originally wrote in on that last episode too, he was just like, "Hey, look at this rod, right?" Like he's going crazy. Yeah, Tormund wants to bang the big woman, right? So, and then lastly,
this is the scene, everybody.
Yeah, during the Calar Vazvin, the Cals argue about how to deal with Igo and Ago's deaths. Khal Moro diffuses the situation by reminding them that Ago was a member of his Khalazar, and he does not care about finding the killer if he was stupid enough to get himself killed. Daenerys is then brought in by two priestesses she befriended before. I'm pretty sure this is what Jay told you guys to look out for, guys. There we go. Moro feels she should join the Dosh Khaleen, but another Khal expresses interest in making her his Khaleesi, while another suggests giving her to the Wise Masters in exchange for 10,000 horses. Daenerys dismisses all of them. She reminds them that her husband in the same temple in which they all now sit declared that he would lead a Dothraki army across the Narrow Sea to retake the Iron Throne for his Khaleesi, while all they have done since is raid and plunder nearby villages. She declares that they are all petty and weak, and that none of them are fit to lead the Dothraki, so she will lead them herself. After a pause, Moro and the Khals burst into laughter, disgusted with her insolence. Moro decrees that instead of joining the Dosh Khaleen, she'll be raped by each of the Khals, then by all of their blood riders, and then if she's still alive, by their horses. It's brutal, fucking brutal. He mocks the notion that they would ever think of serving her. Throughout their scorn, Daenerys' smile has not faltered at all. In fact, she seems to relish the thought. She calmly reaches over and clamps her hand on the basket of a burning brazier, yet she doesn't flinch. The Khals' expressions turn to amazement and fear as they realize too late just whom they are dealing with. In a flat tone, Daenerys informs them they aren't going to serve and that they're going to die, With these words, she topples the brazier, setting the floor of the hut alight in
She
seconds.
just grabbed that, like it was
Mhm.
nothing. That had to be hot, bro.
She doesn't get affected by, we know
I
this
know, it's
already,
just like
right?
a
They do
trick,
not
man.
know this about her clearly, and that's why, once
I
again,
mean,
this is a very classic Daenerys moment. Like, oh, I'll show you, like, you know what I mean? You're like, you're doubting me because I'm a woman, and blah 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 blah. And watch this, right? This is what happens. The Cals desperately attempt to escape the rapidly spreading fire, only to find the temple's single door barred. The
yeah.
bodies of the two men guarding it lying dead outside. Cal Moro is the only one left as he turns to face Daenerys, who pushes the last brazier over in his direction.
Who locked the door? Dora in it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Cal Moro is engulfed by flames, and his screams don't last long. And in this scene, as Jay alluded to, she is seen naked here.
She walks out, man.
Listen, Jay, I hate to tell you, this was not her body. This is another move that they did, like with
Come on.
yes.
Look
Remember
at
that?
me.
Remember that whole talk about, I said she doesn't get naked anymore. This is the one instance where you do see her naked again after she stopped getting naked on the series. But I believe that this has been confirmed that this is not her in this scene.
No.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah, it's not her.
Like, I know, okay, yeah, she might have put on some little bit of weight.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is her.
What did they do? Just attach your head to her body?
Just like her with Cersei, where somebody walked in front of her and like they digitally put her another body in. Like, so that was in Cersei's body, as we've talked about on this show when she was
Like
naked.
a green screen thing. Like
Yeah, I believe this is not her. If I'm not,
I
yeah.
fucking am disappointed with this shit, man, just in case.
You're chased
Like,
over this.
You know, I'm over this. Like, I was at one point in the show, I didn't even get to mention it, but when Jorah and what's his name thing were in there, he goes, "I wish I was born at the Thraki, man, because they're fucking having orgies and parties
Yeah.
every time you walk in."
Yeah.
Yeah. I would sometimes think about that too, but
We'll look it up. We'll fact check it in a minute.
yeah,
As the
because
flames
cities and
climb,
all, man, it was like, yes.
well, we'll fact check it, guys, but I believe that's the case, Jay. As the flames climb higher, the Dosh Khaleen and the Khalazars gather outside in confusion, watching their
Tripping.
temple burn. Eventually, the doors collapse and Daenerys emerges, her clothes burnt off her body, but otherwise untouched by the flames. The entire leadership present at Vast Dothrak is now incinerated. Awed, horrified, and fearful in equal measure, the crowd of thousands bow to Daenerys almost immediately, with the High Priestess and the rest of the Dosh Khaleen following after a moment. Jorah and Daario move to the front of the crowd and bow as well. While Jorah has seen this once before, the
She's just
Norman,
taking a peek up, babe.
Yeah.
Notice?
the normally unflappable Daario is utterly awestruck in this moment. Yeah, he is amazing because again, he has seen her. He has seen her in all her glory, Jorah, before. This is the first time Daario, I think, has seen this like level of Daenerys, like kind of like in the flames and everything else, right? So yeah, very, very great end to this episode. One of her moments.
Take a second peek too. That's all, man. That dirty old man.
That's why he's getting closer, eh?
Yeah,
Bowing.
like,
Hey.
yeah, hey, let me get to see this whole view. And but scene, and that was it, bro. The other one, the last episode, you walk out, you see John. What was it? On the last one we happened that John, something with him. He walked out of the Night's Watch.
Yeah, his watch has ended. Yeah,
her, she just stayed, and it's just scene. Everybody bows, and it's a scene.
That's right.
They just do it quick, straight to the point, man.
That's right.
But great episode.
That's going to do it for this episode. Another really great one. This was a really great one, actually. I thought, honestly, I really enjoyed this one.
Had me going.
And we're basically about to hit halfway through season 6 with the next episode, guys. So make sure to tune in for that one next week. As always, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. If this is your first time checking out the show, let us know your thoughts on everything so far. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. And thank you to everyone checking out the show and the comments that we've gotten from people. It means a lot to us. It's kind of kept us going, and it's kept this interesting for us. We didn't know how this was going to go, honestly, when we started this, but it's been fairly successful, I think, this show.
Yeah.
So
we're enjoying it.
Yeah, we're really happy about it. So, and stay tuned. We should have some more guests coming up at the end of the season, as I previously mentioned, and you can go back and check out some of our previous guests here on the show as well. Christina was on a whole bunch of episodes with us. We just said Leslie come on at the end of season 5, And then we had Kyle on last season as well, and I believe he's going to be returning at the end of this season to join us as well for a couple of episodes. So yeah, some good stuff. He actually, the episode that he's coming on for, Jay, is one of them is actually titled Battle of the Bastards. So stay tuned for that, as we know that is coming up. So anyways, you'll have to see. But next episode is called The Door, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the Door, which is episode 5 of season 6. So make sure to tune in next week, guys. And Thursdays at 8 p.m. is when these air, and we'll see you guys then.
Peace out.
Later. Thanks, Jay.